Hi all. So this is our tutorial for Isams. So I'm just going to begin by stating that you will need a special link to be able to get to Isams. Now that will be given to you by your line manager or your department head, depending on what part of the school that you are in. So this is the link that you will need. Upon entering that link, it will bring you through to the Arcadia domain for Isams. You will need to put in your username and then your password and then get signed in. Okay. Now, just to begin with, I'm just going to show you that your page might look slightly different to this one if you do not have this wizard bar open. And the way that you get that open is there is the drop down, which is just next to the three dots. Okay, so you need to make sure that it is docked. Okay, so yours might look like this, where it's undocked. If you just click on that drop down, click docked, it will then appear for you. And this wizard bar is essentially just a kind of shortcut bar that is already there that will have 99% of what every teacher will need to access on Isams. Okay, for the purpose of today's session, I'm just going to show you two main things. The first thing is going to be how to get your shortcut section on the dashboard just over here. And the second thing is how to go through the registration. Okay, so that first step, in order to create these shortcuts on here, if you click on the waffle that is just next to your name on the top left hand side, it will open up and you will see all the modules that you have access to. Now yours might look just like mine, you may have a few extras. It is assigned to individual teachers based on what they need to have access to. Now the way that you get it to show up on the side is that you can see that some of mine have some stars on it. So if you click on the star, it will add it to your favorites and therefore it will add it to the side of the page there. And I'm just going to toggle this to get rid of it, and you can see that I have these three, so the registration manager, the report wizard, and the student manager. I would say that these three should be on every single person's Isams. So if it isn't on yours, okay, press those stars to get it aligned there, and it just makes your life a little bit easier and a little bit quicker in terms of accessing it. So onto registration. Okay, so this will bring you up to the area where you can see all of the registration periods that you would need. Now, most of the time when you're going to be using this, you will select the date that you're going to be using it on, which will usually auto fill for the day that you are on at the moment. As I'm doing this out of school time, it hasn't populated it with a day or a current class. So let's just do it for the one that's on there, and it will usually auto populate the select registration time with the class that you will have for the upcoming period. Okay, so you usually won't have to tamper with anything like that. It will just auto populate for you. But let's say, for example, I'm going to select one of my Key Stage 3 classes on, let's say, lesson 2, for example. And then it will give you an option of the classes that you need. Now again, this will usually auto-populate, so you usually will not have any kind of issues or anything like that. But for the sake of this, I will show you one here, and on this here you will see that it will come up with the children's names, okay, along the side. It will give you a very small picture of the children. If you hover over them, it can highlight it, so that will help you whilst you are trying to take the register. Has a list of the nationalities of the children. Okay, this flag here just lets you know that there's something that you might need to be aware of. So in this case, it's an allergy. Okay, the stars here refer to children who are students of a determination. Okay, and it will just let you know which level that they are assigned to. So again, that can be helpful for you just to know where it is that you might need to kind of use your support within the lesson, so that you've got an idea of that, even if you're not fully up to date with who the children are in the class and what their needs are individually. So in order to assign the children in for the lesson, we would click on the yes for present. You click on the no for them not being present, and then we have the option to sign them in late. Okay, now there are additional options that we have here where we can click on the drop down button, and then we can say whether that is an authorized lateness, for example, a child being at the nurse or something like that, or if it is an unauthorized lateness. Okay, what I would tend to suggest in terms of the present, just if they're there, just click yes. Don't worry about the codes for that. That's something that the administration team can pick up on their side. Okay. Equally, you might become aware of some information about why a child has been late, for example. So if you just click on the green plus button at the side, you can then input that area with any relevant information. Okay, and again, that will be something that will be helpful for the administration team. Now, one other thing to consider is that very helpful within this is that everything auto saves, okay, without you having to press save for it to do it. So that is something for you to consider, that every time you make a change, it will auto update and it will sync across the system, okay, rather than you having to press save at any point. So that will conclude the registration element of Isams, okay. Just going back to the main dashboard, you just click on the X button there, and then it'll bring you back through to the main area. Now on this main dashboard, it will show you your timetable for the day. Okay, it will also show you if there are any items that you need to be aware of in terms of announcement or anything like that. And you'll see that you have a kind of general access to the students that are in the school. Okay, and then if there is any kind of issues or anything like that about who's online, you can kind of see who is up to date there, who is obviously with me on the weekend, noticing about these elements here. Okay, so that is the kind of main thing that you'll be using it for in terms of using your registration to sign children in and out. Okay, also just on the right hand side here with the wizard bar, you can also get to the registration from there. Okay, and just clicking on the drop down and then just clicking on take a register, which will also bring you through to that same area that we went to earlier on. So you can see that there are multiple ways of getting to the same place on Isams. Something that might be helpful for you as well is for you to be able to see about your timetables. So at the bottom here, we've got the timetable manager. Okay, and the timetable manager is again really helpful. You can see it based on department timetables. You can see it based on room timetables. If you are a form tutor, you can select here to identify the students' timetables. So again, could be you doing it by subject, could be looking at it from a teacher's point of view. Okay, so you might want to be trying to finalize or figure out when you could hold a meeting with someone. That's where you might want to use the teacher timetable there. This is a good tool for that if you want to locate an object or a period for being free. So just clicking on that there. Now, for some way you could either identify if there are any rooms that are free during particular periods of time, if there are any teachers who are free during a period of time. Okay, so we could click on that one to do that, and then it would come up with a list of who is free during the particular period, teacher-wise, so you could see if that would link with your timetable. Can be done by object. Okay, so again, this one is a good one to do if you're thinking of having it with multiple teachers. Say, for example, you wanted to have a department meeting, then this would be a good tool for you to use, where you would click on the button there, and then you could select the teachers who it is that you'll be planning to have that meeting with. And then once you have done that, you will then be able to see if there are any occasions where your timetables align. So another section that we can explore is the student manager, and that is the area that we would go to if we wanted to find out any information about a child. So for example, we would type in their name and then press the search button, okay, and then click on that child. It will then bring up their name, any information about their that you would have there generally about that pupil. We can identify their contact details, their family, school, and such. To be honest, this is a tool that we would use most of the time to just identify the names and faces of certain children within the class. That's the main kind of way that it is used. But as you can see, there is lots of information here that you might be able to tap into if so needed. So this is, again, very good tool that you can use. We can also identify that student's timetable. We could get the student's report if we needed to. Okay, so all of those types of information is available for you within this area. Okay, and then just pressing on that X button at the top just to get back to the main area. So hopefully that helps there for you to know how to set your timetables out, and you're now aware of the wizard bar, which is the shortcut area that you can use to get to lots of places that are very helpful within Isams.